We're going to talk about the rhetorical appeals, ethos, pathos, and logos, the tools that you can use in order to persuade or argue a point or opinion that you have and convince a reader to take your side or to adopt your argument or opinion. Let's start with ethos. Ethos is an appeal or making your case through adopting someone else's credibility or authority. We tend to believe people that we respect. So, one of the central problems of argument when you're writing is that you have to prove to your reader that you are someone that is trustworthy, that is worth respect or garners some sort of respect, and that they can believe you based on that you're speaking something that is credible. It's credible and trustworthy. Or it's something that is working for the common good or for appealing to morals or goodness. It can be a recommendation, a testimonial. It can be a source. So kind of commonly doctors, scientists, a parent, someone who has experienced something before and has background knowledge in it. And so it can also be someone who's famous or has notoriety. We can recognize them. We know who they are. We can trust them because they're sort of relatable in that way. So, for example, doctors, lawyers, scientists, mothers, who have gone through this experience, someone who has tested a product or someone who has experienced the situation and can tell to its trustworthiness or truth. It appeals to your ethics or moral, what you think is good or bad, the kind of code or laws that you live by. It is trustworthiness of the speaker. So we can look at a doctor and we know, oh, that doctor has, the education and the background and the study of this medicine, so we can trust this doctor. We kind of see this in prescription commercials, right? A doctor will come on to tell you why it's good, and then a person will say, I experienced this medicine and it was good for me. So we're trusting people to tell us what we should do and what we should believe. So here's an example of ethos that is actually kind of faulty. So George Foreman is a boxing champion, also a preacher. He sells a George Foreman grilling machine, like a product to create meat or sandwiches or hamburgers or something like that. So they're drawing on the ethos of George Foreman as a notable character, a notable public figure. But his ethos has to be questioned because what background or knowledge does he have in creating food necessarily? So ethos has to be questioned and has to line up with what you're arguing for to be the most convincing for your argument. Let's keep going to logos. Logos is our second rhetorical appeal here, no particular order. It's an appeal to logic, what is true and factual. It's supporting a claim or an argument by induction or deduction, which means just sort of questioning with facts or answering questions through facts and studies. It's statistics, it's graphs, it's factual presentation. It can also be sort of a reasoning, something that we know as a society to be true or good as a rule, or all people believe, or it's a commonly held belief, right? So it's knowledge that all people should have, or it's expert testimony of their presentation of facts and statistics. So not drawing on them as a person, but what they're presenting as true that can't be argued with based on evidence, very clear evidence and concrete data. So it's an appeal to logic and what is clearly true and can't be argued against. It's reasoning, undisputed social knowledge, persuasion in terms of testimony, facts, statistics, reasoning through. It can be a very clear definition of something that is factual. It can be actual evidence, graphs, maps, things like this. So here's a bunch of examples. And then here is an example of logos. So it's convincing someone of an argument such as toothpaste is deadly using an appeal to logos or an appeal to logic, and in this case, a fact or a statistic. So for example, over 95% of the toothpaste sold in the US now contains fluoride, with many grocery stores carrying few, if any, non-fluoridated brands. The use of fluoride toothpaste, particularly during early childhood, presents health risks. This is why the FDA requires a poison warning on every tube of fluoride toothpaste now sold in the US. So we know toothpaste isn't poison, but using those facts, the statistic, the definition of fluoride, the FDA factual requirement, it's kind of convincing us towards the argument that is being sort of presented to us. And so that's a way we use logos or logic to persuade someone, maybe in an argument that might not otherwise seem credible. Our third rhetorical appeal is pathos. It's an emotional appeal. It's drawing on your deep emotional connections to a story or a testimonial or a person's experience. It doesn't have to be true necessarily. It just has to make you connect very strongly to the argument or to the claim. It's usually in a narrative. It's usually someone's sort of very relatable experience, something that a lot of people can say, I see myself in that person's story or in that situation. And so it can be fear-based, a personal connection, a popular opinion that you want to be a part of that group that also feels that way. It can be a person's story of their experience. Maybe it's a sensory description to pull you in and make you feel sort of uplifted or maybe scared. So a very clear sense, bringing the reader into that sense of what you want the emotion for them to feel. It could also be showing like values or ideals, commonly valuing family or valuing friendship, valuing education. And so it makes you feel connected emotionally to the argument. So for example, the argument buy Nikes means you are supporting unjust child labor, right? So this is drawing on your emotional appeal of what is humane, what is good, and it creates a sadness in our hearts, right? Seeing this image of a Nike logo branded onto a child and he's chained to this logo and to this company. And so it's this emotional pathos appeal for us to not buy Nikes, right? It's arguing for don't do this action because of this pain and suffering that's evident through this image. So we're going to look at 3 examples, and you're going to identify which appeals are being used for each of the videos.
2, 3, done. So you don't have to worry. Hey guys, Justin Bieber here. There are some things that just come with being a teenager. Feet grow like crazy. I can't stop that. The hormones kick in. I don't want to stop that. And then there's zits. I can't stop that. That's why I use Proactive. Because there's no way I'm going to let a bunch of zits get in my way. I used to think that Proactive was only for the hardcore cases. Guess what? It's also just right for kids like me. It's totally easy. It's like 1, 2, 3, done. So you don't have to worry about it anymore. It's pretty chill. Hey, what's up, guys? Justin Bieber here. We're behind the scenes of the Proactive shoot. We got my boys back here. We're all playing ball, having fun. And, it always feels good coming out here. You got clear skin, Proactive. Keep it going. Make sure you use it. I'm going to go play ball.
So we had in that video an example of young Justin Bieber showing us about a product that you can relate with. Maybe he's a credible or using ethos appeal here because he's relatable and you trust him because you know him. Also, it could be he's a teen and he's telling you about the teen experience, or that he's popular and has all these friends that do fun things together like basketball. And so you want to also experience that alongside him. You'll be like Justin Bieber if you use proactive. Let's keep going to our next example.
Coverage works so well on Verizon Wireless. If you want to know why your 3G coverage works so well on Verizon Wireless, there's a map for that. Or why you can watch videos at 3G speed almost anywhere, there's a map for that. And if you want to know why some people have spotty 3G coverage, there's a map for that too. Yup, with 5 times more 3G coverage than the nation's #2 wireless company, there's lots of reasons to switch to Verizon Wireless. Come in now for great deals on 3G phones, like the Samsung Rogue for $99.99.
All right, so this kind of ad is persuading us or has an argument utilizing logos appeal or an appeal to logic. How can we look at these maps and not understand and know that Verizon is the best company and why we should buy their cell phone service? And so we look at not an emotional or a credible appeal, but they're saying, look at these facts. It's undeniable, and you should believe us based on real, true evidence and data that we can show you through visuals, images. So logos appeal. And let's look at our last one.
Hi, Maddie. When was this building? It's old, but it has big windows and lots of light. I don't understand. Did I do something wrong? Are you breaking up with me?
Slow and steady.
Commence the official sudden fantastic spectacles. This is Maddie.
So this is a car commercial that walks you through a journey of a girl and her dog. And this is a pathos appeal. Having this puppy and going through life and dependability and having this companion doesn't really have to do with the dog, but you make those personal emotional connections of having this relatable experience of growing with a dog through your big life moments, and you connect it with that car. And the argument is that the car is just as dependable or reliable as the dog. And so an emotional appeal, persuading you to do something, buy something, have a certain opinion based on an emotional connection. So those are our rhetorical appeals. Thank you so much.